We meet again. Today, we're going to talk about credit cards and what happens to your credit card accounts when you pass away. Most important of all, things are handled differently if it's a joint account or if it's a sole account, i.e. your name is the only name on the credit card. When you pass away and you are the sole name on a credit card, you're a winner. All of those debts become part of your estate, and it becomes the job of your executor. Remember we talked about executors in the will section? Of how to liquidate and pay off all of your debts, of which credit card debts is just one of those. Now, if it is a joint credit card account, the survivor gets all of those debts. It reverts right over to him or her, regardless if they made the charges or not. So as you look at your finances and look at your credit card accounts and who's on what and who's joint and who's sole member or whatever, build that into your strategy of what wants to happen when you pass away. Now, credit card companies handle things differently when they get noticed that someone is deceased. Sometimes, if the amount isn't too bad, they just write off the balance because it's easier for them to do that from a business standpoint. If it's a sole account and the credit card company sends you a dunning letter like, we need the money, this needs to be paid off right now, absolutely no problem, because the family, the survivors, has no obligation to pay that debt. You should write back to the credit card company and say, please submit your claim through the probate court process. And again, at that point, a lot of times they just want to write it off and keep things going. Now, it's really important to tell the credit card companies when someone dies. They have no way of knowing what's going to happen. And it's really important that you do this. Let me give you an example. Uncle Harry dies and no one notifies the credit card company. The statements still come, the late fees build up, the interest builds up, because the credit card company doesn't know any different. They're just going to keep stacking on those fees as much as they can until they're notified. So it's to your advantage to take that credit card out of service and notify the credit card company. Now, here's a hot tip and something you really might want to consider. A credit card just for emergencies, just for when someone passes away and you have a sudden unanticipated expense. You can shop around for credit cards that have no annual fee and a low annual interest rate. Now, it may be from some bank in Montana that you have no idea where it is, but something to check out. You can learn more if you go to www.lowcards.com, and it lists all the credit card companies in the country that either have no annual fee, no interest rate, or whatever, and again, shop around for a card and just keep it for emergencies. Now, you might have to do 1 or 2 charges a year just to keep it active. Pay off the balance right away when the statement comes, and then file that card away. So it's a backup just for emergencies. Next, let's talk about notification a little bit. You really want to notify the 3 credit bureaus when someone passes away. And they are Experian, Equifax, and TransUnion. And they all have websites. And if you look down below, I'm going to give you some website information and some 800 numbers to call. Why is it important to tell the credit bureaus? My cards haven't been stolen. My loved one has just passed away. Well, there are big issues, as we know today, with identity theft. And what you want to do is go on record is to say, this person is deceased and these accounts need to come out of service. Let them know. It's the right thing to do. And speaking of notifications, we can't leave out the Social Security Administration. We spent a couple of videos on all the things Social Security can do for you when someone passes away. It's time to notify them and get them up to speed as to what your benefit needs might be. Most important of all, if someone is receiving benefit checks or retirement checks from the Social Security Administration, don't cash them after someone passes away. Again, that's bank fraud and illegal use of funds, and it's just not worth the money that you might have there. So it's important to tell these things and notify all these agencies when someone's passed away. In the words of Mark Twain, it is better to deserve honors and not have them than to have them and not deserve them. If you haven't done so already, it might be time to think more about purchasing my book. Again, more and more information has been coming out of these videos. It's designed to do two important things. First, give you even more information than everything we've shared in all the videos. And two, and most important, a centralized, easy-to-use device to capture and collate and compile all of that information that's important to your survivors when you pass away. Want to learn more about the book? Great. Again, check on the link below to learn all about it. See you soon.